Don't start, I don't have my agenda. Are we starting the meeting?
I'm waiting for it to kick on to YouTube.
Jim, you're doing a great job. You've learned these Zoom meetings. You're a techno wizard.
Go ahead.
All right, welcome everybody. We are, it is 10 o'clock a.m. on Thursday, October 26th. You're at the Coastal Permit Administrator meeting. Did I say October 22nd, 2020? Sorry, I'm 60 this year, forgetting things. And you're at our Zoom meeting for, and I want to call the meeting to order. Jim, do we have notice of determination of noticing?
Yes, all matters have been properly served.
Awesome, that's great. And I'll jump now to the item 3 on the agenda, which is our regular agenda. And the first item is 3A, it's Coastal Development Permit 2018-0011. The applicant is Brian Temple, and it's a standard coastal development permit. And I hear on this matter at 9350 North Highway 1 that there's been a request to continue this matter. Is that true, Mark Kleiser?
Yes, that is true. Mark Kleiser, planner for this project. The Coastal Commission submitted comments on Monday. The applicant received them yesterday and would like to continue the project to a date certain.
Okay, is that, could we pull up the applicant on this matter, Brian Temple?
He's
I
right
believe,
there.
and is there also, do I see Tara there as well?
And Amy.
And Amy?
Yes.
Hi,
Hello.
yeah, this is Tara.
And
agent
if
for
you
the
state your
applicant.
name for the record.
Yes, Tara Jackson, Wind Coastal Planning and Biology, agent for the applicant.
Okay, and is it true that you've requested a continuance of this matter?
Yes, we are requesting a continuance of this matter.
Okay, and Mr. Temple, you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so given that the applicant has requested a continuance of this, are we continuing it to a date certain, Mark?
Yes, I believe December 10th is available,
Yes.
Okay, so,
That'll be at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yes.
so could you state that for the record, Jim? This will be continued to the meeting of
It'll be continued to the CPA meeting of December 10th,
10th
2020 at 11 a.m.
at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So anybody out there that wants to speak to this item, please come back that date. We will renotice. Well, we will not have to renotice this, right?
No.
We won't be renoticing it. It just goes on the agenda, but you can see it show up on our website. So if you have comments about this matter, please come back to December 10th meeting. Okay, so with that, I will continue it to December 10th date certain. And we'll see you all at that meeting, and anybody wants to speak about it.
Thank
Do I need
you
to do
very
any-
much.
Do I need to do anything else, Jim, or is that sufficient?
That's sufficient.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, we're gonna go to the second. We've also I want to bring up that we've had a request from the second item on the agenda, 3B, to go last today. And is that correct, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, so
I received a request from Juliana.
Juliana, is that true?
Yes, the applicant agent has a commitment for a meeting at 9 this morning. And so they just asked for some grace to have their item heard last on the agenda in case their 9 a.m. meeting does run long.
Okay, we'll move 3B to the last item on the agenda today. And then let's go to the next item, which is 3C. And this is Coastal Development Permit 2020-0014. The applicant is David Springer. It's a standard coastal development permit to develop a vacant parcel by constructing a single-family residence, including a detached garage with attached studio, ground mount solar array, storage shed, pump house, and landscaping. The request also includes connection to 2 wells, construction of an underground water storage tank, propane tank, underground utilities, and septic system. Associated development includes improvements to an extension of an existing gravel driveway. And the location is at 33830 Navarro Ridge Road in Albion, California. It's categorically exempt in Supervisor District 5. And I will hand it over to Staff Planner Jesse Waldman. And as we go through this, just so anybody listening, we'll go through a presentation by the planner on the summary of the coastal development permit. And then I will ask the applicant if they want to add anything about this permit, coastal development permit. And then we'll go to public comment. And then after public comment, it comes back to me, Brent Schultz, the coastal permit administrator, to make a final determination. So Jesse, take it away.
Morning, CPA Schultz. Thank you for letting me present. I'm Jesse Waldman. I'm a planner for Mendocino County Planning and Building, and I am here to present the Coastal Development Permit Project 2020-0014. And as Brent stated, this is to develop a vacant parcel. This parcel was developed under one subdivision that was done in 2001, and part of that subdivision required building envelopes be recorded. And this project development of a single family residence, a garage, an attached studio, ground mount solar, a storage shed, pump house, and landscaping is all proposed within the larger, with the exception of the pump house, is all proposed within the larger building envelope that's 100 by 100 square feet. And there's a second building envelope that's been recorded under the subdivision and the use permit that was also done, and it was an amendment in 2002 to a 1996 use permit. And in the smaller building envelope is designated for an underground water storage tank that was required as part of the use permit and the subdivision project. The applicants have, the parcel is zoned in the coastal zone. It is a rural residential zoned parcel with a combining district of planned development, and this is due to the adjacent parcel to the north being an ag preserve. And that also reinforced the need for the recorded building envelope that is currently recorded on the deed of the property, and the proposed locations of development is consistent with that building envelopes under those projects. I have found that the project as requested and as proposed within the staff report packet is consistent with our local coastal plan, our LCP, and also with all of our zoning guidelines. There was a biological scoping survey that was done, completed, and I have added recommended conditions of approval to satisfy our regulations for local and state possible impacts. Let me see if I have anything more. I have, I'm going to be discussing some memorandums due to some comments that I received from the California Coastal Commission. And I received I have prepared 2 memos for the CPA. One was on October 14th, where I received comments from the Coastal Commission on October 9th. And the comments received from the Coastal Commission were about my proposed conditions 9 and 10 regarding exterior finish colors, and then regarding exterior lighting details. And the Coastal Commission was asking for a more restrictive condition so that would be explicit and clear, maybe not explicit, but clear to all current owners or future landowners about the impacts of the surrounding nature environment. I will say that I believe that I made this first memorandum dated October 14th prematurely. On that was also a concern for the Coastal Commission was about proposing a deed restriction to really promote the preservation of the surrounding nature, so the natural surroundings of the parcel. And I prematurely made memorandum 2 as there's already the existing deed restriction that prohibits development, and also the parcel is located within a highly scenic area where our local zoning ordinance and our state guidelines state that no development should occur on highly scenic properties unless it is 10% of the existing development. And this parcel has this building envelope where the landowner's current or future would not be able to build outside of that that building envelope, and that the highly scenic mapped area also regulates that. So I prepared condition number 2, which is dated October 19th. And this is what I would like to recommend as part of the staff report with these revised conditions. And so I have a little clarification in there. Due to the comments received from the agent after the Coastal Commission comments and reviewing our local and state regulations and the restrictions on the parcel, I prepared this memorandum. I have revised my proposed recommendations for 9 and 10 to both state the policy in the local coastal program and also in the zoning code, so that it isn't specific to a specific color, but it's consistent to our guidelines for the planning and building services. So as I've stated, you can see in red on the second memorandum, I believe that would satisfy and it would show that it's consistent. I also stated in my second memorandum why I have recommended removal of the first condition, or the number 12 condition in the first memo, is because it is a heavily regulated site as it currently stands. I also included on that memorandum my conversations with the California Coastal Commission. And then the last thing I want to bring up is I have received public comment from a adjacent parcel owner, and they had questions which have also been posted on our website. And they had questions not only about this project, but also about the parcel that is adjacent that was just developed under a coastal development permit and that was approved in August. And they were, they were worried about goats, and I've discussed the county regulations where the parcel that is the Dugans project, the CDP 2014, the parcel adjacent to it, and then the adjacent parcel owner's property, they're all subject to our Mendocino County Coastal Zoning Code that talks about light agricultural uses, where that's got a maximum allowed one-hoofed animal, being a goat, per acre. So we have a range between 5-acre and 7-acre parcels that were discussed in our conversation. So each parcel could have 1 per acre. And then the other questions were coming up about the impacts that were that could potentially occur to an adjacent parcel when there are wells drilled within the area. And I wanted to just bring that up, that I feel that I've answered all of the questions about the possible impacts to water wells being drilled and adjacent to others. And part of that satisfaction, I believe, is done through the subdivision process, where the subdivision that occurred in 1996 and 2001, the water requirements were satisfied per our Mendocino County Coastal Groundwater Study and our development guidelines. And that this proposal, the Coastal Development Permit 2020-14, did not require a hydrological study to be occurred because of the satisfactions that were met in the original subdivision. And the parcel was then allowed to become an individual legal parcel and to have the same opportunities as all other legal parcels in our county. And so my recommendation for the Coastal Development Permit 2020-14 is for approval of my recommended conditions with the revisions stated in the October 19th, 2020 memorandum. And that concludes my report. And do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Jesse. I appreciate that summary of the project. Let's turn it over now to the applicant, Mr. Dugan. Andrew Dugan's here. If you could turn on his microphone. Hello, Mr.
Hello,
Dugan.
I'm here.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank
Great.
you. How are you?
Great. Hey, you heard Planner Jesse Waldman's presentation of your coastal development permit. Do you have anything else you wanted to add to any of the information she's provided to me on this project?
No, I think she covered everything that we were aware of.
Okay. And if I could ask, do you concur with the conditions of approval that are in the staff report and the amendments to conditions 9 and 10 that are in the October 19, 2020 memo that she just put out today?
Yes, we agree to all the conditions, including the ones in the October 19th memo.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that your comments about the project. With that, let's. Is there? I see Dinah Wiedemann there. Does she want to say anything about the application?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm the project architect on this particular project, and I just want to, I had a memo I sent to the planner Jesse around, the Melissa Kramer's Coastal Commission information. And I think the real issue, and I say this as not just this project, but for the coastal development permits, I think the real issue I understand from the Coastal Commission staff is we used to have, when we applied for our CDPs until the last few years, we used to give a chart of the colors, exterior colors, samples, and the roofing. And it kind of cleared, it made it clear where the project, what it was going to look like and where it was going. Somewhere in the last few years, the application changed, not requesting that. So I understand I understand the concerns of the Coastal Commission staff saying, well, how do we know what this looks like? You're going to approve something and then wait till they do a building permit. And we are not part of that building permit, more or less, right? So I just wanted to bring that up for future projects or future CDPs. Maybe we ought to reinstate that we produce our color schemes and our roofing material within the application. Other than that, I want to say Jesse did a terrific job in the census. These parcels, the subdivision created 2 parcels. And I think this makes it more consistent with the neighboring parcel that was just approved in August, that the conditions are the same and not different. So I close with that, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wiedemann. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up for the public comment. Is there anybody
Yes.
from the public like to speak on this?
Ms. Hanson would like to speak.
Okay, let's get Ms. Hanson here. Ms. Hanson, is there anything you'd like to say about Coastal Development Permit 20200014?
Yes, there is. Thank you very much. Good morning, and many thanks to Jessie, who is amazingly patient and generous with her time. My concern is this. We live directly across the road at 33821 Navarre Ridge Road. The property that's currently being developed has 2 wells. Mr. Dugan's property, which is under consideration, is also going to have 2 wells. These wells were approved many years ago before we had drought conditions. There was a severe drought in 2017. 2020 is probably or maybe going to be a drought condition. And I'm very concerned that they're pumping water out of our water table in the neighborhood and is going to negatively impact our own water supply. And my husband and I are 86. We've lived here for 25 years. And we are extremely frugal with our water because it's always a concern. If the well is going to go dry, and now the neighboring 4 wells with, and Mr. Dugan's property, so far as I know, it was originally applied to be a 6-bedroom. I think they changed it to a 3-bedroom. I don't know what it is now, but they're going to have multiple people living there, plus a studio. And anyway, that's my concern. The water table and the drawing of our water supply by 4 wells directly across the road from us. And there
Okay.
was no hydrological study done because we were not in a drought condition at that time. So I think that one needs to be done.
Okay, is that all you want to let me know on this coastal development permit application? Or anything else you want to add?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Ms. Hanson, yeah, I just want to make sure
yes.
there's nothing else you wanted to add.
No, that was my main concern, was the water and the wells, and 4 wells directly across the road from us, and the drought.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hanson. All right, with that, is there any other public comment? Anybody else wants to comment on this matter? Mr. Jim?
No, all public comments were posted to the website.
And all other, okay, so everybody can see all these other public comments. Okay, with that, I'm gonna close public comment, and it's back to, now it'll come back to me, the coastal permit administrator. And I'd like to just ask a couple questions and on the issue of water, Jesse, is this, this project will go through when it goes through building permit process, environmental health will be checking all that, correct?
Yes, Jesse Waldman, planner for Mendel County. I actually spoke to environmental health about this, and there are 4 active wells between the 2 parcels. So the subject parcel, there are 2 wells that are going to be tapped into, and they're issued already by environmental health under the subdivision requirements from 2002.
Okay. So that,
Sorry,
that
2001.
yeah, so they are approved wells by our environmental health and for this facility, for this structure.
So the response, I can only speak from my experience. I cannot speak for environmental health, but when the building permit comes in, there will be a verification that there is adequate facilities. And I have discussed it with environmental health yesterday, and my understanding is that there are sufficient wells on the parcel, including the subdivision's requirement for water storage on this parcel, which is going to be part of this development.
The permitting, which will be part of the permitting on the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, my understanding.
Okay, all right, I feel comfortable with that answer. Thank you very much, Jesse. All right, with that, I will approve coastal development permit 20200014, and but that approval is also based on the modification of condition number 9 and 10 as amended by the October 19, 2020 memo to me on the changes to those items. So that'll conclude this matter, and we'll move on to the next coastal development permit item. Thank you very much, everybody, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next item up is 3D, and this is A coastal development permit modification, the applicant is, it's CDPM 2020-0001. The agent is Deborah Lennox, and this, the staff planner is Jesse Waldman. The property is at 35940 Elk Meadow Road in Elk, California. And this is an amendment to a standard coastal development permit which authorizes construction of a single-family residence with attached garage, ancillary development, and coastal development permit 7-06, which authorizes construction of a piano studio. I love pianos, or any music from a piano. Request for construction of a second-story addition to an existing single-family residence by adding a bedroom, rooftop deck, expansion of an existing deck at ground level of the single-family residence, including the relocation of a propane tank shed, expansion of existing septic system, conversion of existing piano studio into a guest cottage, and expands the associated patio. So this is in District 5. It's categorically exempt based on the staff report. And I'll turn it over to staff planner Jesse Waldman again to take us through this coastal development permit modification and your recommendation.
Thank you, Jesse Waldman, planner. And this parcel is located within the coastal zone. The parcel is zoned as a rural village parcel. The parcel was developed under a subdivision, and it is, I believe it is the Elk Meadows subdivision. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to have to verify that. But the parcel was vacant at time of subdivision in 1994. It was developed originally in 2003, and then there was the amendment or an additional coastal development permit for a patio or piano studio and a storage building. The parcel, the proposed development satisfies setback requirements and lot coverage, and the building height allowed for parcels in highly scenic or conditionally highly scenic areas such as this parcel is allowed to be 28 feet due to it being east of the Highway 1 First Public Road, and this parcel satisfies that. The parcel will require a grant deed to be recorded due to our requirements for developing a guest cottage. The interesting item to take note is the piano studio was proposed under the 2006 coastal development permit, and when the parcel or when the structure was installed, it was determined that the setback from the public road, or excuse me, not the public road, but from Elk Meadows Road, which is a private road, and the property setbacks, it was determined that the foundation was installed inside of the setbacks, and there's a letter from that 2006 coastal development permit that says that Mendocino County has granted this development, and we are approving the allowed structure to be developed. So the site plan that you see with the staff report will indicate that the setbacks are slightly closer than our standard 25 plus 20. I believe it's 10 feet in. It's a 5-foot discrepancy. That's the only non-normal request or item on this parcel, but with the letter from our director at the time, that was allowed. The project is recommended for conditions of approval, and we will need to have a grant deed. I'm recommending condition 12 that a grant deed be recorded prior to a building permit be issued in reliance with this coastal development permit. The water will come from the Elk Community Services District. And there are conditions 13 and 14, which talk about getting approval from the CPA or from the Director of Planning and Building Services for exterior finishes and exterior lighting. And I recommend approval as recommended with the conditions of approval in my staff report. And if you have any questions, I am available.
Great, thank you very much, Jesse. Now we're gonna move to the applicant for the project. Now, I don't know, is the agent, Deborah, do you want to speak, Deborah Lennox, or does the applicant want to speak and add anything to this, to Jesse's presentation?
I'm not sure. if
This is
Mrs.
Deborah
Penner.
Lennox. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Hi,
So this
Deborah,
is
we can-
Deborah Lennox. I actually designed the original house back in the 90s. And so I've seen this project develop and move forward. The only extension on the guest house would be towards the house with the patio. So we're not, asking for anything visible on the exterior for the guest house. And then the proposal for the master bedroom is, you've got all the drawings for that. And so as far as we know, we've worked with Jessie. She's been really helpful as far as finding paperwork from the past. And if you have any questions about anything, just let us know. And I believe Deborah, the owner, is also available for questions.
I'm not sure if this is her or not.
Hello, Miss Penner, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Would you like to add anything to Jesse's presentation of your coastal development permit modification?
I do not think so. She's done an excellent job, and Deborah Lennox has been very, very helpful too. I think they've covered all the bases.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, next up, do we have anybody we're going to open it up for public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that wants to speak about this item?
I have received no comments and posted nothing to the website. There's no telecomments.
No telecomments, no public comments. All right, with that, I'll close public comments, and it's back to me, to the Coastal Permit Administrator. And I really don't have any questions on the project. Very complete and very well put together, Jesse. And I just wanted to stress, did you have any, you had modified conditions on this? Or no modified conditions, just how they're on the report? And those conditions are acceptable to the applicant?
That is my understanding, Jesse Waldman. That is my understanding. If you would like to ask them.
Could I ask, Ms. Penner, do you agree, and Deborah, to the conditions of approval?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Penner. All right, with that, I will approve Coastal Development Permit Modification 2020-001 and wish you all the best with your project and hope everything goes smoothly for you.
Thank you.
Everybody, and have a good day. Thank you, Jesse. So now we're on to back to the beginning. We're on item 3B. This is Coastal Development Permit 2020-0010. The owner or the applicant is Greg and Sandra Moore, and Kara, was that Cable Moore Incorporated, and the agent's Dahl and Associates. It's a request for a follow-up to an emergency permit, EM 2019002. It's a standard coastal development permit to remove trees from a site where the California Coastal Commission has directed habitat restoration on adjacent lands. It is at 37900 Old Coast Highway in Wallala, California, and it is categorically exempt according to staff. Supervisor District 5 and Juliana Cherry is our staff planner. Let's start first with our staff planner walking us through the reasoning and the purpose for this coastal development permit, and then we'll ask the applicant if they want to add anything to that, public comment, and then back to the Coastal Permit Administrator. So, Juliana, take us away.
Thank you and good morning. Juliana Cherry, a planner with Mendocino County Planning and Building Services. It's my pleasure to present this morning an application as a follow-up to an emergency permit for tree removal. It is a complex site, not merely because there's an ongoing work on the site that is under the jurisdiction of the California Coastal Commission. These trees, the commission felt were not within their jurisdiction, and so the applicant contacted the county and removed trees in 2019 under an emergency permit. This application, CDP 2020-10, is a follow-up to that application, and the property owner has demonstrated that they have met the requirements of the emergency permit, and has, as of this morning, emailed their concurrence with the recommended conditions for this follow-up CDP. Interestingly, the property to the north of this site, they share a common property line. The property owner to the north, Mr. and Mrs. Bell, similarly had problems with trees on their property and processed an emergency permit with a follow-up CDP. With that application, staff received a botanical survey report that identified sensitive habitat on the Ubells property. The Ubells application accepted a buffer from that ISHA, and that buffer extends past the Ubells property boundary. So while it doesn't affect the Moores, because that action was limited to the Ubells property and their project, we are aware that there is sensitive habitat less than 100 feet from the Moores residence. Some of the trees that the Moores removed were north of the Moores residence and south of this sensitive habitat on the Ubells property. Staff is recommending that if trees were removed within 100 feet of sensitive habitat, which we suspect is within 100 feet of this habitat on the Ubells property, that the trees be replaced at a ratio of 1:1. This replacement can occur by naturally regenerating native trees, purchasing native trees and planting them on the property, or propagating them and transplanting them on the property. The applicant has indicated as of this morning that that does seem achievable, and the condition, recommended condition, I think it's 12. Yes, it is. Recommended condition 12 doesn't have a timeline for meeting this requirement. Staff purposefully made the conditions rather simplified and followed the conditions that had been similarly adopted on the adjoining property to the north. For example, that the trees would not be removed if there were nesting birds in the trees or nesting bats. That we would use best management practices to avoid any erosion during the removal of the trees. So with that, staff is recommending approval of this standard coastal development permit. The staff report includes Exhibit E, which shows the location of the trees that were removed in December 2019. Attachment T shows the location of the ISHA north of the Moores property and the boundaries of the 50 feet and 100 foot distance from that sensitive habitat. And I'd be more than delighted to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And I'll now open it up to the applicant or agent for the applicant, and to see if they would like to add anything to that, any more information to what Juliana gave us.
Thank you. This is Stevie Dahl. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Dahl.
Thank you. Well, thanks to you for putting this on the agenda. I know this has been a rough time for the county generally, and certainly for PBS staff and the Moores, and I greatly appreciate your continuing under these difficult circumstances. We do concur in the staff recommendation. We received yesterday a memorandum on behalf of the Moores laying out our understandings based on Ms. Cherry's very patient talking us through the conditions. I did attach two additional documents. One, a letter from the county from earlier in 2019, allowing us to remove trees that were felled in a storm without a permit, as well as the emergency permit itself, which very succinctly states both the work that was done and the conditions pursuant to which it was done. So with that, we're prepared to answer any questions, but thank you in advance for approving this and allowing us to move on to our next challenge.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Now we're going to open it up to the public. Is there anybody from the public that would like to discuss this matter with the Coastal Permit Administrator?
We've had no comment. We've had one public comment that's been posted to the website.
So we have one public comment posted to the website. Nobody wants to speak to this matter. Oh, yes.
For clarification, the public comment that is posted to the website are the comments received from the agent this morning, Stephanie Dahl.
Okay.
They're not from the general public, but from the agent representing the applicant.
Oh, thank you very much for clarifying that, Juliana. All right, with that, seeing no public comment, we'll close public comment, and it's back to the Coastal Permit Administrator for a decision on the matter. And I will approve Coastal Development Permit, Standard Coastal Development Permit 2020-0010, and that concludes the matter. Everybody needs to understand that the decision of the Coastal Permit Administrator is appealable on all of these to the Coastal Commission, and the approval is final in 10 days, correct, Juliana?
In this instance, there's two appeal periods. There's a 10-day local appeal period followed by, after providing notice to the state, the California Coastal Commission has their own appeal period. The combined time takes about 30 days. So I anticipate this time next month, we will be issuing the permit for this project if no appeal is filed.
Thank you very much for clarifying that, Ms. Chapman
Thanks.
and Ms. Cherry. And with that, that'll complete that item. That one is approved. And now we'll continue on with our agenda. Is there any matters from staff? Jim, Jesse, Juliana?
No matters from staff, thank you.
No matters from staff?
I do not have a agenda next in November. There's no-
I believe the next CPA meeting might be the December 10th one in Ukiah.
Yeah.
December
Well,
10th.
Actually, there's one in Ukiah for November 12th.
Okay, November 12th and then
Yeah.
December 10th.
So the next meeting's November 12th for CPA.
Yes.
We'll have items.
Yes,
And
two
then
items.
2 items, and then December 10th after that.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Yes, Jesse?
Yes, Jesse Waldman. I do have matters from staff I'd like to just bring up is regarding all the discussion about exterior colors. A planning staff direction from our chief planner is to add add where parcels are highly scenic, staff may require an exterior finish schedule with color samples as needed, depending on the mapped highly scenic area, to our checklist when taking in coastal development permit applications.
Thank you very much for that. All right, anything else from staff? Seeing none, any matters from the public? Number 5.
I've already received no comments.
No comments. All right, with that, I'll adjourn the meeting at 10:43 a.m. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Approved.